Season 2, Part 1 of Wednesday released yesterday, but I really want to talk about Season 1 of Wednesday before I start watching Season 2. So that's what we're discussing today. Spoilers ahead. Hello everyone, I'm Farron, and I'm going to come up with a better intro for this channel. The doll channel one, I love. This one, I'm all over the place, and so once I get myself together, we'll have a better intro. So this one's just not going to be good. Next one will probably be slightly better. We'll see. But I want to discuss Wednesday. I do have a doll channel linked down below. I have unboxed Wednesday dolls over there. I have the Living Dead doll. There's another one that I need to get. I got the Skeletor dolls. I have the Netflix TV show dolls, and I've unboxed all of them. And you can check them out in the description. Let's get into. I have not seen season 2. I haven't seen commercials for it. I've seen someone made an edit, and I watched the edit. It had a little bit of a spoiler in the edit. Not really, but there's a little bit of a spoiler in there. And then I saw a little bit of a teaser. I had to scroll before I got too much of it. And I saw yesterday, because I was looking for pictures for my wall because I'm missing some the 2022 TV show Wednesday on my wall. So I was looking for more pictures and got a spoiler for that too. And I will be discussing a little bit of that in the video. But I haven't seen season 2, so please do not spoil it in the comments. I don't know if everyone's waiting for part 2 to come out or what. Just please do not spoil it. Discussing season 1, so let's keep all of our discussion on season 1. I do want it to say this is season 1 discussion. Let's leave season 2 for when I actually have watched season 2. I'm waiting to watch season 2 and after I finish all of my season 1 discussions, because there will be multiple videos. I have a lot of thoughts, and some of them need to be broken up into their own separate videos. So you will think by the end of all of season 1 that I am turning this channel into an Addams Family channel. But there are 2 other shows that I can do just as much. I can discuss my thoughts on a couple other things and go really deep into. But I will discuss the Addams Family a lot. I love the Addams Family. My credentials, I've had the 1960s on my wall forever. At the 1990s, I have her in my background. She's been in my background for a while, but my background hasn't changed since 2021. It's been my background for most of my videos. You can kind of see who's in the background and all of that. So I can go into it. But got my notes. I have 12 pages, full pages, front and back of notes. And as I got more into the show, I had more notes and more thoughts. The first 3 episodes are on this one page, because they're just certain things that I wanted to talk about. And then as I got more into the show, episode 4 is a bit longer. Episode 5 is quite. Episode 6, I had so many thoughts. I was how do I have so many thoughts on this? But I have a lot of thoughts on it. I think I'm going to break this down into 2 parts, because I didn't finish episode 7 and 8 last night, as I was planning to do, because I had so many thoughts I kept having to pause it. So it just kind of kept going and going and going. And then I was up at 2 a.m. just trying to finish all my thoughts, and I'm not going to finish this and get enough sleep. So I stopped, and I'll just finish that tonight, and then the next time I film, I will be able to discuss episodes 6, 7, and 8. I might do the first 5 in this video and then the last 3 in the other video. I might split it down into 4, the first 4 and the last 4. Um, we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But we're going to actually get into it. Long intro. Sorry about that, but I am chatty and you see how long this video is. So we're just going to get into it now. So episode 1, it starts off with Pugsley getting bullied. And we're going to break this down because I have a lot of thoughts on Pugsley getting bullied. Now, I am not saying like, oh, before, another disclaimer. I'm not going to be talking about like the actors. I'm only talking about the characters. So this has nothing to do with the actors at all. We're talking strictly characters. And I'm not going to be like even really mentioning the actor. Just to keep it like separate. Like, I think the casting was fine. And, you know, like, I'm not discussing that at all. I'm talking about the characters themselves. Now, getting back into it. Pugsley getting bullied. I don't think it's, like, totally off base for Pugsley to be bullied. In the 1960s. But, like, when you really think about Pugsley, Pugsley and Wednesday are kind of a duo. And they're, like, he is the less obvious, like he kind of takes after his father when he's like, he still has the darker aspects to him, but is more cheery out of the two of them. He's like the more cheery guy version of Wednesday. So when you see him getting bullied and him like being shoved into a locker and crying about it, any other person, like if it was Eugene, I'd be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. But when you like Pugsley, especially when you see how Pugsley and Wednesday play together in the 60s, the 90s, the 2019 movie, like he gets buried, he gets like, they electrocute each other, they play very extreme, and so for him to be like, I'm not saying like him being shoved into a locker and an apple shoved into his mouth is like not something that the bully would do. Like, I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm talking about the way, like, he's just, like, crying, and it's just, like, doesn't feel very Pugsley to me. It doesn't feel Pugsley. It's Eugene to, like, it is, like, that was something Eugene would do. And I'm not saying that people, like, can't, like, the Addams Family can't express these certain emotions and can't be, like, crying over things like that. But what I am saying, it doesn't feel very Pugsley. It's not very Pugsley, especially when you just like if you've watched like other versions of when Pugsley, and they wanted, I understand like wanting to do it, have a new take on the Addams Family, but so there were certain core things about the Addams Family that when you start changing them up, it's less Addams Family and turns into your average family, which the Addams Family very strongly are not. Like their TV show in the 60s was very much like a league of its own because like the family loved each other so much, and they didn't really have like a lot of negative like conflicts with each other. The conflicts were always like people coming into the house and causing that. It wasn't the family themselves, and they, even if they did, it's not the same level as what we're seeing currently. And it was very like it's a league of its own. Like it's like even with the monsters, that was like a family of monsters, and the two like parents did have their own little quarrels and stuff. So like even in the 1960s, league of their own. And so when you see Pugsley and he's behaving the way your average teenage boy would, who's being bullied relentlessly by these like bigger guys, you're just like, that's not very Pugsley. It's not very Pugsley. And it's just like, it's just something that I wanted to talk about. And I'm just like, I want Pugsley, like hopefully like during like season 2, he does, like start feeling more like Pugsley than he did in season 1, because season 1 he's giving Eugene, and Eugene is a fine character. I'm not like faulting Eugene for being Eugene, but Eugene isn't an Addams. I don't know his last name. Eugene is Eugene, and Pugsley is an Adams, and the way the Adams behave. And they have started doing this thing with the Adams family starting in 2019, where they have like Wednesday and Pugsley not be like as close to try to drive a rift to it so that she feels more like an outsider in her own family, especially in the second movie, which I'll get into. But it's really like kind of feels like they've adopted that, and I feel like the writers only watched the 2019 movie before they started writing the Adams the Wednesday TV show. That's what it feels like, because it's like, watch the 1960s, watch the 1990s, and then like let's start writing the Wednesday TV show, just so we can kind of get a feel for what the characters are like, because they are the real thing about it. That's where a lot of my thoughts come from, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm like a Gen 1 Monster High stan, and I hate all the new stuff that comes out. And I'm not. I love the Addams Family, and I've watched like I watched the 2019, and I don't know what year the next one came out, 2022, 2023. I watched that one too. Like I watched both of them, and it has nothing to do with like that. But when you really think about the Addams Family, they started like separating, like driving a wedge between Wednesday and the rest of her family. And I will discuss more of that in a separate video. But that's like my first thought when it comes down to it. And so like Wednesday like going after the bullies makes total sense. Like I really feel like when you're getting back into like him being like shoved into a locker and an apple put in his mouth, like she like can hear him and like looking for her brother. She goes like pulls the apple, finds him in his locker, opens the locker, lets him out, and takes the apple out of his mouth. A more Pugsley thing to me would be him like actually it was kind of cozy, and he's like and she's like, who did this to you? And he's like, I don't know, it happened so fast, but I think I saw like a Letterman's jacket. But him saying it more calmly than him like really like crying and stuff, just to like give it more Pugsley. That's just to change that scene a little bit, because the events that happen can still stay the same, but the way the character is in that is the one thing I would change about like the first 5 seconds of the episode. But him like just the way he reacted is just kind of, it's like, that's not Bugsy. um and so her like finding piranhas and they have pet piranhas in the 60s. So that I'm just like, yeah, her getting piranhas, her pet piranhas, and then doing that, total sense. Makes total sense. No notes. Off topic. If I had the money, I would get the American Girl Wednesday doll, because it has her with her, like, the 2 bags of piranha. And if you've watched my doll channel, I did make a custom, process of making a custom Wednesday Addams Family member, like, a doll. And I already have an Enid. I really want that doll, but it's $300. And I don't have $300 to get her. If I did, she would be in my house. Getting back into it, but like the whole scene, that part makes total sense. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is Pugsley doesn't go with Wednesday to Nevermore, and to me, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because, number one, Pugsley's the one that was being like needlessly bullied by the jocks. And where did he go to school after he was being bullied by the jocks? Like, she gets punished for for the piranhas, which I get. But he was the reason why she was doing it was because he was being bullied. What happened to him? Where is he? I'm concerned. Like, he's being bullied at this school, and now he doesn't have his sister protect him, because this isn't Pugsley. But Pugsley's being bullied, and now he doesn't have anyone looking out for him. He has to stand up on his own, and we don't even get to see how he's doing out of school. Like, with her being at Nevermore, we don't even know what's going on, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I want to go into again, Pugsley and Wednesday being a like, dynamic duo, like them being menaces to society, like together. And even like, well, me and my sister were like talking about like how were we not the biggest fans of them making Pugsley younger than Wednesday? Because like in the 90s, I don't know who's older. I couldn't tell you who's older in the 90s, but in our head it was always like, because we watched the 60s, that Wednesday was younger than Pugsley. And with Wednesday being younger than Pugsley, her like loving relationship with her brother, but also like bullying her brother, but bullying her brother, her older brother, and that like dynamic is an interesting one because the younger sibling being like a menace to society makes total sense, especially like in the 60s as well, because like she was the one who punched that little boy, and Pugsley just tore his jacket. So with all of that, the two of them, together. The 90s, the two of them worked together. They played together, they worked together, and if we were gonna make him the younger sibling, he still needs to be a menace to society. And all of the night, like the younger siblings, I have younger siblings, by the way. I have a younger brother, by the way. And again, menace to society. And my little brother kind of gives like the like not really stereotypical, but like when you like watch like Lizzie McGuire, that little boy, like yeah, he was a genius. But also like he would torture his sister. Even Stevens, I don't know. I wouldn't say genius because I don't think that's what he was. But he did like like torture his older sister. Kyle, that's a Raven. Not necessarily, but they have like that younger brother, older sister dynamic. And again with Pugsley, it's not giving that. It's like where they still have their like moments, but they come together at the end of the day to defeat, all that. Um, so just like Pugsley and Wednesday at Nevermore. Especially when like she doesn't have like I get like her like not having friends because obviously she just moved in and she doesn't like, really need friends or want friends and she's like kind of a loner. She likes that. I still think it wouldn't have taken away from her having her brother there because like she could still have that same like energy, but also like her brother's like her shadow. I don't know, but I did like that she had thing with her when she was there. I did like that. So she had like at least one family member with her, but like Pugsley not. And reason why to me like Pugsley not being there doesn't make any sense to me is because not just one parent went there, both parents went there. Like the mom went there, and like she was a witch, and the dad went there. I don't know what Gomez can do, why he's going there. I don't know if it's because like his family started the school like with Goody, um, or what. Like I have no idea why he's there because we don't like. It's not even like stated like what he does, why he's there. I have no idea. I have no idea. Is he like the only like normie that's there? I have no idea, especially since I think in this rendition they started making like they changed Uncle Fester from being like an older character and making it an uncle, making it a brother character in like the 90s, and they kind of kept that going. Um, I think that's like his brother and Uncle Fester literally like, can like make lightning with like has like electrical like fingers and stuff like that. And so it's just like, what does Gomez do? That's another. This is like, not saying he can't go to the school. Like honestly, I think they should be like kind of like Monster High and just be like, yeah. Unless he's like Jackson, but not like the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing because we already had the Hyde situation. Anyway, but like Pugsley not going there when both parents went there. It's just like he's being bullied. Take him out of that school and put him in a school where he would less likely be bullied. And Wednesday's going there because she tortured the swim team with the Pronouns. That to me makes more sense. I've been talking for 20 minutes and we're only on episode 1. Another thing, I want to do a whole separate video where I talk about this. But Wednesday, all caps, hates her family. First episode. And I put that on, like, the rest of this, my thoughts on episode 1 is that. She hates her family. I have thoughts, okay? So that's gonna be a separate video because I just have so many thoughts, and this video will be 6 years long if I talk about everything I want to talk about in this one video. So we'll talk about it in another video. But I do want to like put an actual quote in there of something that she says. What she says, I said she hates her family and thinks they want her to be like them. And I'm just going to briefly discuss this, just briefly. Like Morticia and Gomez don't think that, and they have really changed like the dynamic between like the family, and that's why I want to discuss it in a separate video. The Addams family into your average family where like the mother and daughter are like fighting on and stuff. Daughter's fighting the mom, but we don't know why. It's kind of like the Barbie movie where like I think her name's Gloria. Gloria is super nice to her kid, and her kid's just really angry for some reason and mad at her mom for some reason, and it doesn't make any sense. It's kind of it's like that, except it's also with her dad. But I think she hates her dad a lot less. But she hates her family. I can understand being mad because your family is sending you away. You might feel like you're like unloved because of that, even though they've explained it and your hormones are making you feel a certain way and all of that. But you don't really feel like it's that when you're watching it. It really feels like she hates her family. And it's just like hating your family because they're sending you away to like a boarding school. And it wasn't even like their first option. She went to 5 other schools, 5 other normal schools before they sent her to this school. So it wasn't like they automatically wanted her to be exactly like them. Which, I'll get into. Like, I got thoughts. But I'm going to leave you with this quote, then we'll go to episode 2. She says, "There are evil puppeteers who want to pull my strings from afar." Wednesday, after finding Thing, and he basically says the parents are just worried about her, which is why they had Thing with her, not to spy. What guys, I don't think the Addams family is really like, that's not their thing to like spy on their family members. You know, that's not they're concerned parents who sent like a family member to watch over her because they wanted to make sure she was okay. And they're like, "Oh, you're a spy." And it's like, no, I'm not a spy. And I'm just like, you really think your parents want to spy on you? Episode 2. Oh, in season 1, episode 1, before I get into episode 2. A lot of the episode, she spends just trying to escape. She tries to, like, not really befriend, but, like, pay someone to get her out of town so she can just, like, go find a different family member to live with. And she almost gets killed, like, twice from the same person. And then, Ronan is from Lego Ninjago, so his name starts like that. I think it's Roman. Starts with an R. His name is not in my notes. Sorry, guys. Sorry. He dies in the first episode. And when he's like first tries to shove something like a gargoyle onto her head, and gets knocked out of the way by Xavier, and then the second time, she's saved by this monster that kills Roman, whatever his name is. But after he shows her the picture, and he gets killed, and she sees the monster. She decides, hey, this school actually might be interesting. I might cop a squad, stay a while. I might stay a while, and so that's where we get to. I will be discussing like a separate video on the love triangle, and so I'm not gonna really dive too deep into it. I will be mentioning it because it's one of my least favorite parts about season 1. But going into episode 2, she has to find like Miss Weems wants her to like immerse herself into the school and pick an extracurricular activity, and she goes like, okay, I'll do fencing. Her mom's captain of the fencing team. She's like, and she also loses. Wait, no, wait, pause. That was like that first episode. Yeah, that's the first episode. I didn't have this in my notes, guys. I'm going off the cuff right now. But like, she has to pick an extracurricular activity, so she starts going testing out stuff. With art, fencing. I don't know if she's actually in a fencing class because of later on episodes she was like she left her like snood at fencing, so I think she still does fencing, but we never see her fencing again. Don't know why, but we never see her fencing again. And then she goes to archery, which Xavier is at, and she doesn't do that either. I don't know if her. I think the reason why she doesn't do archery is because he's there. And then so she picks beekeeping with Eugene, and they become friends. I think that's the only real one that she can call like her friend at this point, because like Enid will call her a friend, but she wouldn't necessarily call Enid a friend at this point. But Eugene, they kind of become, because she kind of sees her as Pugsley, because Pugsley and Eugene are essentially the same person. Except they're not. They have the same characteristics, and that so she kind of like takes makes him her sidekick because she doesn't have her brother with her. I do think if we had Pugsley at the school, she, I honestly, if I would have done this show, she wouldn't have hated her parents to begin with. But I think Eugene would have been much more of a minor character, and I don't think certain things would have happened if Pugsley was there. But Wednesday doesn't want to be like her parents, and she ends up doing the Poe Cup, not because she wanted, like, was like, oh, I want to do the Poe Cup thing, but because she was like snooping around in Xavier's room and heard Bianca talking to him about ruining Enid's chances at the Poe Cup the next day. And she doesn't like Bianca because Bianca's like the queen bee, and their relationship didn't start off very great. And so she decides to join the Poe Cup because she wants to beat Bianca and end up winning the Poe Cup. And so she doesn't want to be like her family, her parents, which it's fine. But when she finds out that her like mom, the last time Ophelia Hall won, was her mom was the captain of the team, she kind of just like, I can't even do this without you having like taken place in this. And to me, it's just like, it really like grates on my nerves how badly she hates her mom. When you really just think about what did her mom do? Like, that's the story I need to get. Like, what did her mom do? The reason why you hate her so much? And it's like, if it's just because her, Morticia and Gomez are very lovey-dovey, they've been like that the whole time. And were you always annoyed by it? And why? Um, and it's like, your parents raised you, and they literally taught you certain things. And so, yeah, you kind of have a bit of each of them in you, and you can take that and do whatever you want with it. And if Morticia, which Morticia would never do, Morticia was like guiding her into becoming exactly like her, which she's never done in the 60s, the 90s, and then 2019, I can kind of see more of that. Um, but not really, you know. She just wanted to like spend time. Anyway, but like when you really like see that, you're just like, what is happening? And so like Weems is like saying like the last time this happened, we were on the same like team. I was like her co-pilot, and she's like, this plays this Wednesday, and she's like, my mother and I are two different people slash species slash everything, and I'm just like, girl, what happened? Like, what happened? Because even like when you like are watching this, it doesn't make sense, especially if if you if you haven't seen any other version of the Addams Family. That's the only way to really like watch it and really be like, yeah, your mom sucks. But when you meet the mom is just like pretty chill and you're just like, wait. Even if you haven't seen other versions of the Addams Family, you're just like, you can be like, oh yeah, you hate your mom, you get a complicated relationship with your mom, and then you actually like really meet the mom and like and see what happens and all of that. The only thing I can really see like her being like mad at her mom for is like we told every family member to call us if you go to their house. If you go to their house, they're to call us immediately because we want to like. That's the only way I can actually see like, oh yeah, not great. And that's not even like from a mom's standpoint. That's like from Wednesday's standpoint. Because with the mom's standpoint, yes, because like she needs to know where her kid is. Like a loving mom should always know where her kid's at. You know. So that's like the only reason that I was like, oh yeah, I can see like why. But I really don't get it, and it's never her hating her mom because her mom also was like Ophelia Hall. And you know what's really crazy? It's like the mom requested to be her to be roomed in the same hall as her because Enid didn't have a roommate, so they gave her a roommate. So they picked her in the she's the only without a roommate. And so it's just like you're reading in between the lines on a blank paper with no lines. Anyway, episode 3. This is outreach day, and they have all give their tasks, and she ends up switching with Enid because Enid wants to talk to this one guy. Don't ask me his name. I don't know. But he's like a Gorgon. He has snakes on his head and wears a ridiculous hat that covers his forehead. Honestly, guys, I don't even like the thing about like his costuming is did this with like the Monster High like live action movie too. They just had him wearing a hat, but the way they do the hat in Wednesday greatly pisses me off because like it's like a beanie, but you know what beanies? I have one on my bed. It's like super long, but usually like beanies have like the little like folded up like this, and it's not even like slouchy in like the proper way. It just kind of sits out like this, and it just looks odd on his head. It looks odd on all of their heads. I just like if it's gonna be a beanie like, and you're gonna have it covering their forehead, fold it up and make it look like it's like style it. You just kind of like put on their head and just sits there like. That's off topic, but that's a little side tangent. But I just like the way the beanie looks on his head just kind of irritates me, and it makes me want to just like adjust it to make it look better because it's like I'm not a big fan of the way the beanie looks, and I honestly can't remember his name. I'm trying to think of it, and I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so Enid is at the shop with the taxidermy shop, and Wednesday goes to Pilgrim World, which odd place. It's a very odd place. Anyway, back to the topic. So Wednesday is at Pilgrim World, and the thing that's make it really odd. The thing makes it really odd. The mayor is a black man. That's not the odd part, okay? But he is like the fun, like he created Pilgrim World. Like that's like his baby. He's the reason why, like a tourist site. Like that's his thing. It just feels odd. This just feels odd. I also like. I do kind of want to talk about. I think I didn't really put in my notes like the normies in the town. the normies try to bully her, but she like humbles them more than one occasion, and this is one of them. Like Eugene's getting bullied, and Wednesday stops them, and she also like ends up, again she humbles them because they're like, "Oh, little girl can't fight," and she's like, "No, I can. My parents taught me that," but she hates her parents. I'm sorry. I don't, her parents gave her all the skills she needed, and she still hates them. I just can't get over that. Anyway, and then after she defeats the normies, Eugene's just like, "Why are you like helping me and all that?" And she's like, "Hummers stick together," because that's one of the things that he's said to her in episode 2, I think. And he tells her that she doesn't have any friends, and she says that he reminds her of her brother, except she doesn't want to strangle him at every waking moment, which, if it's in that they're playful, like the way they play kind of way, I'm like, okay, yeah. But it kind of feels like more like she's irritated with him, and versus they're like when they were playing and they would do certain things, like again, electrocute each other in the 90s. Anyway, while out investigating the meeting house, things suggest she tries touching things to see if the vision occurs. And she's like, it doesn't happen like that. But then she touches something, and she ends up meeting Goody, I think. Oh no, she also ends up. He also like suggests asking her mom, because again, her mom was there for a reason, guys. And Wednesday says she'd rather dye her hair pink than ask her mother for advice. Which just goes into like my thing that we'll discuss in a different video. Episode 4. When I do discuss her hating her family, I will talk about things that I talked about in this video, but more in depth. So you might hear me talk about the same things, but I'm just going to go more into depth on it. I just don't want to do it in this video because this video, for recording, I'm at 40 minutes, and we're on episode 4. We're just getting to episode 4. Oh, before we get to episode 4, when you see the way she handled Pugsley in the first scene of the first episode, she's like, "Stop crying, tell me what happened." And he's like crying. He's like, I don't know what happened. It happened so fast, I couldn't see them. And she just gets up, or she touches him, and she knows who did it. So she goes and handles it, right? But she's like, "Stop crying. Like come on. We're Adams. We're Adams. Like, stop it. Get it together." And then with Eugene, she sees like her brother in Eugene, but she handles it a lot different because it's not her brother, and she's like wiping him off, and she's like being like very like doting to Eugene in a very sisterly like way, but more in a traditional sister way versus the way she was with her own brother. And it's just like, I do get like being like, oh, she did like defeat the bullies, but then the extra step to be like, yeah, we stick together, and she never actually does that with her brother, which is just like interesting. Like I don't know, I can't remember if she says, "I'll take care of it," or "I know who did it, give me a sec." She just kind of like gets up, leaves her brother on the ground, gets up, and is like, I gotta go handle something." And it does like get like with familial, like sometimes like you don't show the same like level of like affection with your family as you do with your friends, which I get. But it just seems this very interesting like thing. She's like, her friend is getting bullied, and she's like, not only am I going to defeat him, I'm also going to like, because he was eating like sitting in the corner and just eating fudge, minding his own business when he got bullied, and he ends up like puking. And she's like, "We're going to get this off of you. Let's just, hey, It happens. It's kind of like, you doing okay, champ? Let's brush it off. You're okay. We're good. We're good. Kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't necessarily want her to have like that with her brother, but just interesting, like the dynamic. Like she sees Eugene like her brother, but she treated him a lot differently than she treated her brother. And yes, she did say that she didn't like want to strangle him at every moment of the day, but again, that one's like kind of iffy if she actually sees like wanting to strangle him because that's just how they play, or strangle him because he's irritating. It could be a mixture of both. Honestly, it could be a mixture of both. But it's just like something that I thought was interesting, and that's why I wrote it down. Um, really, in the first few episodes, like I don't really focus. I'm not really focusing on like the whole like murder, like solving a crime thing. I don't know if I actually end up start doing that. Reason why the notes get longer and longer and longer. I just think I have more thoughts that aren't having to do with the murder. But um, like she is investigating a murder, doing all of this, guys. The reason why she was wanted to switch with Enid and all that. Anyway, so at the end, at some point in the episode, she's at the old meeting house. I'm pretty sure she ends up seeing Goody there in that vision. Ends up seeing the monster, and then Xavier shows up, and she's like, "Huh? Where?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was being nosy, and I heard you talking, and I just kind of followed you out there." Which I want to do a whole separate video on like suspicious behavior, just because I think it would be kind of fun to discuss things after you've like know who the bad guy is, like the things that are kind of like could like little like puzzle pieces to like give you into like, oh yeah, when you watch it back, you're like, see, that's suspicious, you know. And that was like for her when she's in her investigating, her like the obvious bad guy in her mind is Xavier, because he shows up when those things happen. And like he shows up after she saw the monster and saw the footprints, and she was like, "Hey, how did you know I was out here?" I was being nosy. um, and then like footprints, and he just kind of like, "Oh, I don't see any feet prints." It's like it's a monster turning into a human. But those big things we'll probably end up discussing. Maybe I might discuss later. But like someone ends up dying in the old meeting house because they were like kind of squatting there. One of the guys who stole a camera, he kind of the thing is, the thing that really gets me personally is when you really think about it. The guy took stole a camera, went to the old meeting house, got killed by the monster, and the camera is just flashing, and we never see any of the images. I don't think I put it down in any of my notes. If I did, I'll talk about it then. But we never see the images that the camera took. I don't even think, and I'm like, you guys are bad cops. I do want to, I'm like, you guys are like, there's a camera right there. Why aren't we like getting the film like processed? Like, why aren't we like looking at it? Why are we like thinking like, oh, it was stolen from this place, and all the other, like, we're not investigating. like like these shows that we have, like the kids solving murders and stuff, the cops are literally incompetent. We have it with like Riverdale. I'm like Nancy Drew. I only saw like a couple episodes of Nancy Drew, so I can't really discuss that fully. But like Nancy Drew, with like Scooby Doo, like the cartoons, like crimes are being solved by teenagers, and the cops are just like, yeah. And a lot of times, the cops are very dismissive. Like in this show, it irritates my soul. Like someone's coming to you with like evidence, or they're like, talking to you about the case, and you're just like brushing it off like you're a kid, you're a child, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, episode 4, Emma Wednesday goes into the morgue to investigate and get like copies of the morgue information. She almost gets caught, but I said I don't know why I wrote this down. It's not like a big thing. But she is able to appear in full rigor mortis and isn't discovered. Okay, pause. Look, guys, and then this is why I wrote it down. I realized why I wrote it down. It's right here. And I was like, Pugsley should have. I'm really trying to say should have behaved like this in the locker. Should have been able to like just like because she's shoved. She shoves herself into this like thing, and it's just like yeah, I'm like dead. You know, actually to be able to appear dead and be like cold enough to appear dead in there, and it's just like Pugsley, like she didn't just like they used to play like really like crazy, and maybe giving like really thinking about it, maybe it's not even the fact that he was like shoved into a locker and all that stuff, but the way it happened could have been kind of traumatic, which I'll give them that. But I still think the Pugsley I know would have been a little different. You know, I'm really trying to dissect what I wrote. Episode 4 is when I started writing notes on the love triangle. And so, not going to go too deep because that's going to be a whole separate thing. But, Wednesday was in Xavier's, like, art studio, and he comes at that moment, and so she feels like kind of obligated to ask him to the dance. And Tyler finds out, and like she tells Tyler, she's like, well, I don't know why people are so obsessed with this stupid dance. And she's like, so he's like, so are you going or not going? And he's like, she's like, actually, I'm going with Xavier. And she doesn't sound very happy about it. And Tyler just gets like, oh, okay, about it, and pissed me off. Tyler gets mad at her. And I'm like, I literally put in all caps. She is literally trying to solve a serial killer, like a crime. She's literally trying to, she's not focused on going to this dance. She literally called the dance stupid when she's talking to you about it. And you're mad because she's going with this other guy. Come on now. She's trying to solve a murder. She's trying to solve all these murders. Okay, and this is the quote I put. It's not like I like Xavier. I just have ulterior motives. She thinks he's the killer. So she was investigating, got caught, and had to improvise. So it's just like, calm down, Tyler. Jeez Louise. And then X finds out that that she's in the shed, and then kind of just like, we're not going to the dance together. And he ends up going with Bianca. Yeah, I'm gonna like see episode 4 is really what started getting me on the like love triangle like thing, and that's just going to be a whole separate thing, so I don't want to focus too much on it. Oh, I put like a side note, because at this point we already know who the bad guys are. I was like, why did the one normie in this show have to be the villain? Oh, I don't know. This is during like I'm not sure when I'm referring to this, if I'm talking about Tyler, if I'm talking about the mayor's son. I have no idea what that guy's name is. Like, I have no idea. I don't think he probably did mention it when he was talking to Bianca, but I'm like, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know your name. But the thing that I do want to discuss that's part of like the whole love triangle thing, but this pissed me off with Thing. Like Thing, but him, Thing was so, I was like, Thing was so wrong for sending Tyler that note, and like him buying the dress, or stealing the dress, he didn't buy it. Stealing a dress is like, fine, whatever. I don't care about that. I care like you made it seem like she liked him and that's leading him on more when she does not, or he's picking up when she's not putting down. You know, like he's seeing things that she probably see, if anything, the bare minimum as a friend. And thing is reading too much into it and is like, no, she clearly doesn't like Xavier, but she does like Tyler, and kind of egging this love triangle thing on. And I'm just like, thing, why are you doing this? Why are you making this harder than it needs to be? Why are you entertaining this love triangle thing? Oh, some side notes I put in here. Um, I was like, why was Gomez not the fencing on the fencing team? You know, because like I have an image right here under like my flag. You can't see it. I'll move it so you can see it. Like 1960s fencing, right? This is such a beautiful picture. Them fencing, right? The 1990s, he's literally fencing his lawyer, like lawyer or accountant. I think accountant. Literally like fencing his accountant. I'm like, why isn't he on the team? Like I didn't see his image at all in the picture. I'm just like that doesn't, to me, doesn't make any sense. Especially like 60s, 90s. Even I think in 2019 he did some fencing in that one. So I'm just like, he's not on the fencing team in the Wednesday show, which really brings home my whole point of like Morticia being the captain isn't the issue, because she was the better fencer in the 60s. And he was okay with it. You know, like, I'm not insulting Gomez. Gomez doesn't care. But why isn't he on the team? Why, like, who, like, did he do, like, the archery? Was that his thing? Because even in, like, the 60s, she was the better archer. You know, she was a better shot. She's the better shot. It doesn't matter what it is. You know? So just, like, why, like, is Gomez really just didn't feel like he had a major role at Nevermore? Like why was he there? Why was he there? he's kind of giving Gothkin. Like there's Beachkin, there's Gothkin, and he's Gothkin. I do have like a kin of Gomez, but it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? Doesn't feel like he has like a major role in Nevermore or why he was there. It doesn't make any sense. Unless the only reason why he's there is because Goody started the school. And I don't even think it's Goody. I'm not even sure if it's like fully said that Goody started the school, or if this other guy did, the one with Faulkner with the notebook. One of them did. So like if Faulkner did it, really why are you at this school? If you don't have anything, you're not even doing on the fencing team. You're not on the fencing team. Not even as the water guy on the fencing team. You just like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's something that it's just like doesn't make any sense to me. And then here's another thing I want to talk about. It's Thing's fault that Eugene got hurt. Yeah, because she first had to go. Wasn't going. She was going to the dance with Xavier, and then that got canceled. She was like, hey, Eugene, we're going to go investigate. And Thing was there. And then Thing's like, no, you're going to the dance. So I'm going to send a note to Tyler and not tell you about it. And then I'm going to buy you a dress. And then Tyler shows up like, hey, I'm ready to go to the dance. And then Eugene's like, I thought we were going to investigate. And she's like, we'll do that another day. And he's like, okay. And then he goes off. Now, in theory, it actually is Eugene's fault. But also, it's Thing's fault because it's Eugene's fault for being out there. But it's Thing's fault that Wednesday wasn't also out there. We do get the iconic scene of her dancing. But Eugene gets hurt in the process. You know? And then it takes him out of the show to like the last episode. And this happens in episode 4. In episode 4, Eugene gets hurt, and we don't see him again until episode 8. So let's say like part 1 of the show, because like they're breaking it down into 2 parts now. And my sister was like, "What is this, Bridgerton?" And I was like, "Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Breaking it down to 2 parts, and having like wins. Like he's in part 1, part 2 he's not in, and you're taking out like one of the key players until the last moment. It's very much giving, and this is totally off topic, and if you don't watch this, you won't get it. It's very much giving Superman. Superman entering a battle, getting taken out because he's so powerful. In this case, Eugene has the information, that important information. Gets taken out until like the battle is already like done. Until all the investigation has been done and all those other things are happening, and then boom, Eugene. And also like with like they do that with like a lot of times they do like the very like strong characters, they take them out so that the story can last longer. And it's just like, I mean, I guess, but I feel like there's better ways to do it to make the story interesting enough to be this long, for it to take this many episodes. I also think 8 episodes is kind of bizarre. I think it needs to be 10, but not 10 episodes of them like investigating. I feel like there should be a little bit before, like an episode before the murders are happening, and an episode after where there's not, the murder has been solved in the last episode, and we just get to like see like an epilogue or something. That's just me and my little side tangent, because I think you guys are making episode like TV shows shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And like even with like Once Upon a Time and TV shows like that, there's like a first part of the series which is like 12 episodes part, like, and then the second part of the series comes back in like the spring, and you have like the second part of which is 12 episodes. So like if you can't get to 12 episodes, at least you could do is 10. Stop being like 8. Stop being lazy. And I do think budgeting, but also like you guys need to budget better, because again, Once Upon a Time, their budget could still give you 24 episodes, and 24 episodes of 45 minutes worth of, like, about 45 minutes worth of content with 24 episodes. I have a whole, like, my whole think piece on that. But that's just a little snippet of it. And this is going to be the last thing I talk about, because I think episode 5 on we'll talk about in a separate video, because this is out an hour long. I really hate the roles given to the black characters. Oh, his name is William. I wrote it down, guys. The mayor's son, William, and Bianca, the mean girl. Like, those two are the characters that I'm really, really like talking about, because William is a troublemaker. Like, first off, like, his dad was a cop, and he was like the sheriff, and then he became the mayor. And you are out here being a menace to the outcasts. Like, they're called outcasts, guys. You are a bully. You made the mayor's son a bully. Now, it's like, and the reason why it's like so prominent is like because they are black characters. Because if it was a white son, a white mayor, and a white son, it's like an overprivileged white guy doing overprivileged white guy things. When it's a black character, it's just like, it kind of like, to me, feeds into like harmful stereotypes about black people. There are 2 prominent black characters in the show, like teenagers that are in the show, and one of them is a bully. And sure, he does like turn over a new, like, first he turns over a new leaf, and then he actually turns over a new leaf. Something that I want to discuss. This is in the same episode. Reason why I pointed out. So William ends up going to the dance with Enid, and they're like, the thing is really getting to me is like, he's like, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, the last episode, the Crackstone thing statue gets destroyed, as it should, because he was not a good guy. but he wants revenge. But we don't know this at the time. He asks Enid and him like talk at the weather vane, and he's like essentially like, "Hey, you want to go to the dance with this one guy, but can't. I have this ex that I wanna like talk about." And the reasoning is like he got beat up by Wednesday, not once but twice. Like twice. Like even if it wasn't him specifically in the second time, he's like, I can't get in trouble anymore, and yet he still does what he does. Like he's like, I can't get in trouble with my dad anymore, and yet he still does what he does. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it really like you get beat up by the girl the first time, and you didn't learn your lesson. Like for one time, to me, is all it takes. Like if I'm getting beat up one time, like I get my butt beat, I'm out. I'm done. I'm finished. You then go again, start bullying one of the classmates, and then Wednesday shows up. I'm like, hey, I didn't like how the results happened the last time. I'm out. You know what? You won this round. And I would, even if the crackstone got destroyed, it wasn't your money that paid for it. Oh, because, and his dad was humiliated. Because the thing, like, humiliated, did he tell you this? Or did you, like, reading into this? Did he tell you later on that was so humiliating? We didn't even see this conversation. And you're not a reliable guy. So, like, I'm not taking anything you say as fact. And it's the fact that this is the character that is. Because he wasn't the only one bullying, like, trying to bully everybody in the town, like push everyone in town. There's other characters, and it could have been any of those characters who were doing it, but it's specifically the black guys doing it, whose dad is the mayor. And honestly, it's very out of like, dad was a cop, and the dad's the mayor, and that's how you were raised. And it's very like off-brand, especially if you were raised the way that it's just out of character completely. Because first off, your dad was a cop first, so he would have instilled like, this is right, this is wrong, don't do this, don't do that. And so then he becomes the mayor, and the mayor has like, has to be like, be on your best behavior, like don't be running around this town making a fool of me. And yet he's doing guys, it's very, it's not, it's if it was a privileged white guy, it would make more sense, because that's what they do in TV shows. I'm not talking about, I don't know what, we're taking in fiction, okay? It makes more sense if it was a privileged white guy doing it. But if it's and there's so many white guys in the show. You have like the one black guy with speaking parts, and he's the only teen black guy with speaking parts, and you have him being the bad guy, not the big bad. I'm not glad he's not like the killer, but you still have him having this like negative role for a good chunk of the show, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just, and then having Bianca be the mean girl, like being the mean girl, not a mean girl, the mean girl. I don't have no problems with these characters being the way they are if there are other characters who are the same skin tone who are in different roles, who have like speaking parts. There's two black teens in the show who are of darker skin tone, and they're like the bad guys in the first part, the first 4 episodes. They're not even like the big bad guys, but like they're not very nice people. And you don't have anything, it's very off balance, because like there's only two black teens, and both of them are not great. And then you end up pairing both of them together in part 2. And it's just like, why are we doing this? What was the motivation? And there is this whole thing on like, I don't know what's this guy's name. Tim Burton. There we go. I know it was Tim. And I was like, Tim Allen. Not Tim Allen. Tim Burton. And how he feels about black people in his movies and stuff, because they're not the aesthetic. So you put, I don't know, he's not like, he was the like casting director but definitely it feels like there is like a reason why there's A, only two, and B, they're not in very good roles, at least in season one, part one. And they do shift. They do have a shift, um, and stuff. But when you really are watching it, you're just like, why? Like, there's no one else. They don't really have like major like. There's no like other like black characters in the show. And sure, there's not that ton of people characters in this show, but that even makes it more important to have the two black characters not fall into these harmful stereotypes where like they are mean and not great people, you know. And so it's just like something that really like grinds my gears when they have like, only two, and like, it's like if you're gonna only have two, which if you're only gonna have two, don't have both of them in bad roles where they're or roles where they're bad people, even if it's just to start and they progressively get better, or like have them end up together. Like it's just like icky to me that there's only two black people and they're gonna end up together. It's the same thing that happened in the early 2000s where we like would see like, oh, there's two black people, they're gonna end up together, aren't they? And it's just like, and if they genuinely like love each other or they like each other, it's yeah, but also they're the only two in the show. They're the only two in the show. Yeah, like with High School Musical, the two black characters end up together. So it just follows that, and it's just like kind of just like we don't why are we following that, especially when you like see like the way that Xavier treated Bianca in this episode 4. Like they broke up because he couldn't trust her, and it's like it really just adds to the element like, oh, she was dating a white guy and he couldn't trust her because black people can't be trusted. And if black people can't make mistakes and then like build like fix the relationship later on. He's like, no, like she now like that whole relationship has been severed completely. It's completely severed because of Wednesday. But like that's not the point. The point that's not when you're watching. You're just like, especially when you like see later on they pair her with the only other black character in the show. The only other option. It's just like adding all these pieces together. It feels very intentional. Like when you're doing it like this, it's like, why is it that the two black characters have to end up together when there's only two black characters? If there was more, it's not an issue, and it's not even like, and there are background characters, but the background characters don't have speaking parts. We don't even see a black teacher. So that's something that really got me. Bianca being the mean girl. If there's like a whole clique of mean girls and one of them's black, but she's not the big mean girl. It's like with I'm trying to think of it. Princess Diaries. How like the big mean girl is like the blonde, and then there's like her two friends, Lana, Fana, them. It's like, yeah, okay. Statistics, one of them can be like black, but when it's like the mean girl, and it's like it's not even like it's a problem. But again, having one black woman, one black girl being like in there, and there's not one on like to balance it out, it feels like you're skewing like all of the bad things to like one race. All the negative aspects of the show, you're putting it on one race. And yes, they're not like the villain. It is a white guy and a white woman. That's not the point. That's not the point. When you're watching the show, you don't know that until the end. You know, like you're not watching that until the end. So you're like seeing all these things happen, and you're just like, I put the only two black people get paired off together. She wasn't in a relationship with Xavier, and he couldn't trust her because she was a siren. Which, let's pause that for a second because I will probably discuss this more in part 2 when they actually get paired off together. But you knew that she was a siren. It wasn't like it was a secret, and it was always a possibility. And that the necklace she wears. Maybe one day, I don't know what caused them to break up. She said she made a mistake. like one time. I don't know if she forgot to wear her necklace one day, or she was like, there was something she really wanted him to do, and she used her powers to do that and stuff. Um, but like, I'm just like, guys, we really are just really we're stacking everything up against these two black characters, and it's I don't really like that. But those are my thoughts on the first four episodes. An hour 20 minutes worth of thoughts. And that's just 2 pages of my notes, like 2 full pages of my notes. The rest of my notes come from episodes 5 and 6 and then 7. I'm like halfway through episode 7, and episode 7 is 2.5 pages. Episode 6 is the longest. I think it's like 5 pages. 5 to 10. So yeah, 4.5 pages. So like I have a lot of thoughts on the later episodes, which I will be discussing in the next video. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts on the first 4 episodes of Wednesday season 1, not season 2, please. We'll discuss season 2 in a bit. We will discuss season 2, but we're focusing on season 1 right now. So let me know what your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Totally fine if you disagree. If you're just like have your own thoughts. I just want to talk about it with people because it's been stewing in my brain since 2022. And so, and like last year, like 2024, season 1 came out on DVD, and I pre-ordered it then, and I have it in my house. So, like, I love the Addams Family. Okay, guys, I have a whole like frump theory. If you want to hear about my frump theory, comment, share, whatever. Like, I don't really tell people to do that because I have it in like the intro and outro, but I don't really say it because I just want it to be like, if you want to, free to do it, you know? But like, I have a whole frump theory, and I want to discuss the frump theory. And one thing I will say about like Pugsley, bringing Pugsley into it, also like I really wish that I had like a whole like chalkboard so I can like have a whole board or like with a red string and just like that's I feel that way about the Addams Family. With the red string and the crazy eyes, that's how I feel about the Addams Family. And the other 2 shows, if you want to know the other 2 shows that I could probably like, Lego Ninjago act. Lego Ninjago, especially since there's so much content, guys. There's so much content on Lego Ninjago, and I will be going into it. I will be going into it. I think I'm going to go into it in phases and stuff because I have my first episode. I want to talk about the love triangle with that, and the other show is Dragon's Race to the Edge. Well, like How to Train Your Dragon, technically the franchise, but really wanted to focus more on the TV shows and the movies because the movies kind of focus more on the dragon, whereas like the TV show actually gets to go into the different characters and stuff. And so yeah, I especially since I watch it like every week, give or take a week or two, but like every week I watch that show. And I wanted to put this at the beginning of the episode of the video, but like I got so excited that I forgot. So if you want to watch the 1960s TV show and you don't want to pay for it, because I do have it on DVD, and my sister bought the box set for me, which is like, I'm so excited. I love it. You can watch it on Roku. They have seasons 1 and 2 on Roku. I see there is a 3rd season, but I don't know if they kind of put season 2 with season 1, season 3 with season 2, or if it's a totally different thing. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. There is 3 seasons, but they have. That was really loud. Seasons 1 and 2 are on Roku. They have it on there. It's also on Tubi. They took it off Tubi, then brought it back. Love that. And it's also, I discovered Pluto TV this summer, and it has like live TV, and they literally have a whole Addams Family channel where it just plays all of the episodes, well, season 1 and season 2. Again, I don't know if season 3, they haven't aired season 3 or what's happening with that, but it just plays all of the episodes in chronological order, so you can kind of like sit and binge watch it. And if you ever like have to like go do actual tasks, you can just like come back to it. You can also watch it on your phone and your tablet. I have the app on my tablet. I need to get it on my phone. And I have it on all of my TVs. And I was like, also like the Lego channel is on there. Samsung TV has the Lego channel, but they play different. It doesn't play the same Lego channel as on Pluto TV. But Pluto TV also has like all of the Lego, like all of this Lego Ninjago on there. And guys, I'm like the happiest person ever. And so yeah, I will be yapping so much about Lego Ninjago, especially since I watched like the first 5 seasons a million times, and then I've only watched season 6 once, but like I have a lot of thoughts on Lego Ninjago. So guys, buckle up, buttercups, we're going to be talking about that too. But just like right now, like Wednesday, the show, like I've been wanting to talk about it forever, and so we're doing that, especially since season 2 is coming out. And yeah, so that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, which I will be filming. I'm gonna have it come out relatively close together. Once I film it, I have to finish watching episode 7 and episode 8, and then we can go into it. But I'm gonna let you go. I've been yapping for an hour and a half, so I'm gonna let you go, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.